Hello everyone, this is Frank DiMora from the End Times Research Ministry. And today is the 20th of August, 2015. And I had an email from one of my viewers, and they asked me a question about the peace agreement that was supposedly signed in 2008 by President Barack Hussein Obama. And according to this email, they were saying that there was a video that was put out by Steve Fletcher under 222, that's what he goes by, Tribulation Year 6 of Antichrist Obama. So you'll see the headline right there. I'm going to play the beginning of this, and I'm going to show you why it is that this so-called peace agreement back in 2008 is not the peace agreement or the confirming, as it really says in the Old Testament in Daniel 9:27, confirming of a covenant that would last for 7 years. I'm going to show you why Daniel's 7 years is not what this Steve Fletcher is talking about. You'll see why when I connect the dots. But let me play the beginning of this video for you. Obama fulfills Daniel's 70-week prophecy. The end is now. October 29th, 2008 is the first day of the 70th week of Daniel. All right, so in case you don't know anything about the prophecy, you have to understand that God has determined so much time to deal with the nation of Israel, and the whole allotted time was 490 years. And to make a long story short, 434 of those years to deal with the nation of Israel have already been fulfilled, and there's only one 7-year period left that would bring the total to 490 years. And this is what he is talking about here, and he is saying that that started back in October 29th of 2008. He's going to show you what happened on that date. It says Barack Hussein Obama put himself on a nationwide TV on 7 major TV networks and in front of over 33 million people and confirmed his promise to come together with the people. Now, there's a very important fact that I want to bring out when we look at this statement that we just read. Barack Hussein Obama, he put himself in a nationwide TV in 7 major TV networks. This was done 33 million people in the United States. So he's trying to puff himself up in the United States. Now, in context of what we know from Daniel, who is Daniel's prophecy referring to? Well, it has to do with the nation of Israel and the many people. Now, who is Israel having problems with? Isn't it, in fact, they're having problems with the Islamic states, not the United States? So what he is saying in this video of 2008 does not jive any way, any shape, as what we see in the context given to us in Daniel 9:27, where the Antichrist will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. And that week, again, is specific to the nation of Israel, not the United States like this video proclaims to be. So you can listen to somebody who's making things up and trying to make it seem like it, or you can stay in sound doctrine and hold to what the Bible tells us. In this section it says the intention of his promises was not only to strengthen but also prevail on election day, to exceed during his presidency, to be great and to be mighty. And this has nothing to do with the nation of Israel. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the world. He wants to puff himself up, as I said, in the United States. It has nothing to do with the Daniel prophecy. So what we see again is an attempt to try to drag in what the President of the United States is doing to make it fit, or at least sound that it fits in with Daniel's 70 week, and there's no way possible ever that can happen. Then you go on, how does this prophecy fulfilled? All right, I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to show you something. Now, what I did for you is put up a timetable here. If, in fact, this was the Daniel 9:27 peace confirmation back in 2008, that would mean, according to how this person is saying that means that 1,260 days after the confirmation that you see here. Okay, so just for example, say that this is the year 2008, right here, Antichrist confirming the covenant. Well, exactly 3.5 years, we know from that time that the Antichrist would be going into the temple. And when he goes into the temple, he is going to stop the daily sacrifices that the Jews start up again, and then tell everybody that he is God. At that point, he's going to tell everybody that they have to take the mark of the beast. Now, here's where that theory of the 2008 confirmation falls apart, because we haven't even begun this confirmation. If we did, we would have seen the first 6 seals being fulfilled already during the first 3.5 years. This is the time that Satan is going to try to come against the church, play havoc against the church on a worldwide scale like nobody's ever seen before. That has not happened. Also, we have not seen the temple being rebuilt again. It hasn't even begun yet. So the Antichrist can't go into a building that hasn't even been built yet. And if this building hasn't been built yet, he hasn't gone into it at the 3.5 year mark, exactly 1,260 days, and he hasn't even given the order of everyone taking the mark of the beast, because 2008 to 2015 is 7 years already. So that would mean that according to this 2008, everything in Daniel's 7 last years had to have taken place, and Christ would be coming back in 2015. Now, we know that that's not the case, because none of the judgments of God that we see in the book of Revelation, once the Antichrist confirms this covenant with many and sits in his temple exactly 3.5 years, that's at the point right here is when the wrath of God begins to fall on the world, the unrighteous, and that goes on for 3.5 years, or 1,260 days. That has not begun yet. For example, take a look at the 7 bowls. Sores. Number 1, the sores, it's going to afflict those who accepted the mark of the beast. Well, that hasn't been given yet. So discount that as part of the 2008 scenario. And the second one, sea turns into blood and all the sea creatures die. We're in the birth pangs of this happening, but we know that all of the sea life is going to die. That hasn't taken place yet. The rivers turn to blood, another sign of the last days. We're in the birth pangs of that, but we haven't seen that all over the place yet either. Mankind, under the 4th bowl, scorched by the sun, blasphemies God. And yes, we are warming up, but we haven't gotten to the point where we reach the tribulation period yet, because that's a judgment of God. And of course, the Antichrist would have already been established, so that counts out the 4th bowl judgment. And the 6th, the Euphrates River is dried up. Well, obviously, if you watch the news, you see that we're in the process of that taking place, but it hasn't been completely fulfilled, or it hasn't been dried up enough for an army of 200 million soldiers to cross it. And then the 7th bowl, the earth is utterly shaken. No one has ever seen that. So when you keep going back to this 2008 scenario, you see that the Word of God doesn't jive with this kind of date setting. And as far as the 7 trumpets, the green grass, 1/3 of the trees are burned up. That hasn't happened. 1/3 of the sea becomes blood. That hasn't happened. 1/3 of the waters turn bitter. We haven't seen that. The 4th trumpet, 1/3 of the sun and the moon and stars do not shine. the locust that comes out after the fifth trumpet. And we know that is going to be horrendous wrath that will be poured out, and people will suffer for a period of 5 months, and they'll try to kill themselves. But we know that their spirit won't leave their body, so they'll be in agony, the worst agony possible for 5 months. And then, of course, the sixth trumpet, 200 million man army. You're talking about a worldwide war again, which hasn't happened, and the kingdom of God is declared, and that is bringing on Jesus Christ at this period right here at the end of the tribulation. Now, I put the arrows in here because this wrath, the bowls, the trumpets, this takes place after the Antichrist announces his kingdom and tells everybody to take the mark of the beast. So you can see nothing in this video jives. So when we're talking about things that need to take place so that we know for sure that we're in the beginning of the first 3.5 years, or at this point, that hasn't even started yet. So, looking at 2008 right here, and if this is 2015, well, what happened to all the things that were in between this period and all the things that happened into this period? They haven't existed yet. There is physically, by the signs that the Lord had given us, with the signs of the sun, the moon, and the stars, none of those things have happened yet. The Antichrist is not here yet. There is no covenant yet. There's no judgment yet. And more than enough proof that you need to know that it cannot be 2008. And also, Barack Obama is not the Antichrist. When the real Antichrist shows up, he's going to have power like nobody else had ever have power. Now, if the Antichrist were Obama, he would have had already gone into this temple to tell everybody that he is God. And we know that Barack Obama is already in his second term and almost on his way out. And he hasn't any of the power like we see that the Lord reveals to us that the Antichrist is going to have. When the real Antichrist shows up, he's going to be like a Superman on steroids. Someone that the whole world loves. And obviously this is definitely not the case with Barack Obama. He's very, very, very weak. He's almost destroyed America single-handedly. So when the Antichrist comes, he is going to be a man that the whole world receives, the whole world will look at for a way out. And that definitely is not Barack Obama. So 2008, throw it away. It is not correct. The 7-year peace confirmation has not arrived yet, but I do believe that we should see that soon. So let's keep our eyes on it. Now, if you want to come back and try to show me how I'm wrong, you go right ahead. But please, I want you to show me the dates. If you're going to email me, show me the dates where the temple went up in Jerusalem, because I was there in 2010. It wasn't even built. The latter part, almost 2011, it wasn't even built. I look at the news almost on a daily basis to make my reports, and there's no temple standing on our mount. As a matter of fact, the Temple Mount Institute people are still trying to push to get that temple built. So again, just ample proof that it is not 2008. This is Frank DiMora, just showing you the right way to look at what God has given us, not what some people want to make look like it has already happened. You need to look at the very specific details of what to look for. And if you don't see that temple, and you don't see anybody giving you and forcing you that mark, which should have taken place, if we're in 2015, it should have been 3.5 years prior to this date. So in closing, let me just say that there was more to this video, but I'm not going to cover that because there's ample evidence just in Daniel 9:27 and the things that haven't taken place currently that shows us there's no possible way that 2008 could have been the beginning point of the last 7 years of the 490 years that were determined for the nation of Israel. And in closing again, please take the opportunity to go over and get my book today for free at the website that you see that just bounced below. It has all the documentation you're ever going to need, and it's current as of today. If you have any other questions, you want to email me, just email me at endtimesresearchministry@yahoo.com.